Democracy is the road to socialism. This is a famous quote by Karl Marx. This would probably shock a whole lot of people because you've been taught your whole entire life that we are a democracy, and that's just plain not true. You see, the Founding Fathers were against democracy. If you go to the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, it says, every state in the Union shall be guaranteed a republican form of government. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand. The Constitution of the United States never uses the word democracy. The state of Montana Constitution and the rest of the constitutions, none of which mention the word democracy. Here's what some of the Founding Fathers said on this subject. A simple democracy is one of the greatest of evils. Benjamin Rush. James Madison. Democracies have ever been spectacles of turbulence and contention, have ever been found incompatible with personal security or the rights of property, and have in general been as short in their lives as they have been violent in their deaths. James Madison was considered to be the father of the Constitution. John Adams, second President of the United States. Remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There never was a democracy yet that did not commit suicide. When Ben Franklin left the convention, he was asked by a lady, what kind of government do we have? And he replied, a republic, ma'am, if you can keep it. You see, the Founding Fathers never wanted a democracy, and the reason why is because in a democracy, it's mob rule. If everybody in your community votes and decides that it's okay to take your business or your property or your children or your money, then it's okay. Now, I was taught in school probably 300 times to 1 that we were a democracy versus republic. Even if I was told we were a republic, that was just kind of a word used in passing. Nobody described to me, what that meant or the definition of a republic. And when I look back on my government schooling, one of the things I realized is they didn't teach me hardly any principles of liberty. The only thing they wanted to test me on is what day the Constitution was signed, what day the Declaration of Independence was signed. We certainly didn't go through and study the principles in the documents. And this is another way through the free government education system. They've stripped us of all this knowledge. We get out of high school and the only thing we know, if we can still remember, is what day Columbus landed and all of these things. We don't know any of the fundamental principles. This is Norman Mattoon Thomas, and he was a leading American socialist and 6-time presidential candidate for the Socialist Party. And this is what he said in a 1944 Socialist Party presidential election speech. The American people will never knowingly adopt socialism, but under the name liberalism. They will adopt every fragment of the socialist program until one day America will be a socialist nation without knowing how it happened. They've changed the word once again to progressive. He went on to say, I no longer need to run as a presidential candidate for the Socialist Party. The Democrat Party has adopted our platform. Now, it's very interesting. Clear back in 1944 that the Socialist Party decided they didn't even really need to exist anymore because the Democrat Party had taken over their platform. Well, at auction, we got an old Constitution from the 40s and started looking in it, and it had a little section, and in this section it said, I'm an American because, and it listed all of these reasons why you're an American. Well, one of the reasons on there is because you abide by the will of the majority. So clear back in the 40s, They were trying to convince us that we were a democracy. That's how far back this goes. A lot of people think that it just started with the Obama administration. That's not true. In fact, if you think about it, clear back in 44, the Democrats were the Socialist Party. So what party do you think they are today? And then the next question is, what's the Republican Party? Is it the Capitalist Party, the Freedom Party, the Liberty Party, or is it truly the Fascist Party? And I'll define that for you a little bit here in a moment. Zoning is stealing. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his manservant or maidservant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. No matter what fancy word they use, whether it's stakeholder, or sustainable development, or community planning, no matter what term they give it, you are taking the authority of the use of property from an individual. When you take away the authority of the use, you're taking away value. That is stealing.